I caught my husband sneaking off to a bar with a woman. He swore she was his long-lost sister, Sarah. I believed him, then fell in love with her. Last night he called, whispering, "Sarah's not who you think." And then the line went dead. My husband, Ethan, had been acting off for weeks. It started small. He'd tilt his phone away when texting, his fingers moving fast like he was hiding something. He'd come home late, claiming work ran over at his tech job in downtown Seattle. I brushed it off at first. Marriage isn't perfect, right? But then he started lying. Last Friday, Ethan said he was grabbing beers with his best friend, Mike. My gut churned. Mike had posted a story from Paris that morning, sipping wine by the Seine. Ethan wasn't with Mike. He was somewhere else, and I needed to know where. My hands shook as I opened the tracking app we'd shared years ago, back when we trusted each other. His dot blinked at a dive bar in Capitol Hill, nowhere near Mike's place. I grabbed my keys, heart pounding, and drove across the city. The bar was packed, neon lights buzzing, the air thick with cheap beer and laughter. I scanned the crowd, my stomach twisting. Then I saw him. Ethan, tucked in a corner booth, leaning close to a woman with long brown hair. They were sharing a picture, their laughter cutting through the noise. Her hand brushed his arm, and he grinned, a grin I hadn't seen in months. Pain stabbed my chest. I wanted to scream, to storm over and flip their table. But my legs froze. My eyes burned, tears threatening to spill. Ethan's head turned, and I panicked, ducking behind a nearby table, my knees hitting the sticky floor. My heart thumped so loud I swore he'd hear it, but he wasn't looking at me. He waved at a waitress, ordering another round, his eyes sliding back to her. She was beautiful. Green eyes, a warm smile, the kind of effortless charm I'd never had. I watched them, my mind spiraling. Was this why he'd been distant? Why he'd stopped kissing me goodnight? I couldn't breathe. I stumbled out of the bar, the cold Seattle air hitting my face like a slap. I drove home, tears blurring the road, and crawled into bed. The sheets felt too big, too empty. I cried until my throat burned. The image of them laughing seared into my brain. I must have fallen asleep because the clock glowed 2 a.m. when I heard the front door creak. Ethan stumbled in, his steps heavy. He collapsed onto the bed, reeking of beer. His arm brushed mine, and I flinched. He mumbled something, his voice soft, like nothing was wrong, like he hadn't just shattered me. How could he act so normal? How could he lie to my face? I stared at the ceiling, my chest tight, replaying every moment in that bar. Her smile, his grin, the way they looked at each other. I didn't know who she was, but I knew one thing. My marriage was falling apart, and I wasn't sure I could stop it. Ethan's snores filled the room, but I couldn't sleep. My mind was stuck on that woman's laugh, her hand on his arm. I lay there, staring at the shadows on our bedroom ceiling, my heart a knotted mess. How could he come home, crawl into our bed, and act like everything was fine? I wanted to shake him awake, demand answers, but I just lay there, silent, burning. He stirred around 3 a.m., his arm flopping over me. "Hey, babe," he mumbled, kissing my forehead. His breath was sour with beer. "Sorry I woke you." I stiffened, my skin crawling. How dare he be so sweet? I turned, my voice sharp. "How was Mike's place?" He froze just for a second, then chuckled. "Great, we had a blast." His lie hit like a punch. My blood boiled. He rolled over, already half asleep, while I simmered, my nails digging into my palms. Morning came too fast. I woke to the smell of bacon and coffee. Ethan was in the kitchen, flipping eggs, a stupid grin on his face. A plate sat on the counter, toast drizzled with chocolate syrup, spelling out, "Happy anniversary, love." Our 5th anniversary. I'd forgotten, and somehow that made me angrier. He hummed, oblivious, setting the table like we were some perfect couple. I wanted to scream. How could he play this game after sneaking off to that bar? I followed him to the bathroom, my hands shaking. He was brushing his teeth, toothpaste foaming at his lips. "I know you're cheating," I blurted. The words hung heavy, raw. He stopped, toothbrush midair, and stared at me in the mirror. His eyes widened, then crinkled. He laughed. A loud, gut-busting laugh that echoed off the tiles. I shoved him, my face hot. "It's not funny, Ethan." He spat out the toothpaste, still chuckling, and grabbed my shoulders. "Babe, sit down. Let me explain." I yanked away, storming to the living room. He followed, his laughter fading, but that smug grin still there. "You've got it all wrong," he said, plopping onto the couch. I crossed my arms, glaring. "Then why'd you lie about Mike? I tracked you, Ethan. I saw you at that bar with her." His face softened, but I didn't trust it. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Okay, I messed up. I didn't go to Mike's, but that woman, she's my sister, Sarah." I blinked, my anger stuttering. "Your sister?" He nodded, eyes earnest. "My long-lost sister. We got split up as kids. Mom couldn't afford us both, so she sent Sarah to live with our aunt in Chicago. We lost touch until she found me on Facebook last month." I shook my head, my thoughts spinning. "Why didn't you tell me?" He sighed, rubbing his neck. "I wasn't sure it'd work out. If we didn't click, I didn't want to get your hopes up, or mine. I was gonna tell you after I met her." His voice was steady, but my chest still ached. He'd lied. He'd made me doubt everything. I wanted to believe him, but the image of them laughing, so close, wouldn't leave me. "I'm sorry," he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled back, my throat tight. "You should have told me, Ethan, not let me find out like this." He nodded, his face falling. "You're right. I screwed up. Won't happen again." I didn't know if I could trust him, but I needed proof. "Show me the messages," I said. He hesitated, then grabbed his phone, scrolling through texts with Sarah. They were casual, excited, talking about meeting up. It checked out, but something still felt off. I wasn't ready to let this go. I couldn't shake the unease, even after Ethan's explanation. His phone messages with Sarah looked real, but lies have a way of hiding in plain sight. I needed to see her, to know she was really his sister. "I want to meet her," I said, my voice firm. Ethan nodded, no hesitation. "Done. I'll text her to meet us tonight." I crossed my arms, still raw from his deception. "Good, but don't think this fixes everything." Our anniversary plans loomed, a cruel irony. We had a couples Cold massage booked at a spa in Bellevue at 1 p.m. Then dinner at the Pink Door, our favorite spot in Pike Place. The car ride to the spa was suffocating. Ethan tried small talk, asking about my job at the marketing firm. "It's fine," I snapped, staring out the window. The bar scene replayed in my head, her laugh, his grin. I wanted to believe Sarah was his sister, but doubt gnawed at me. Ethan reached for my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold on either. The massage was supposed to relax us, but my muscles stayed knotted. Ethan sighed happily, his tension melting away. I envied him, how he could act like nothing happened. We drove home in near silence, the Seattle skyline blurring past. I went to our closet, staring at my dresses. The black one felt too tight, too exposed. I chose the red wine-colored one, long and elegant, hoping it'd make me feel stronger. By 6 p.m., we were at the Pink Door, candles flickering, the smell of garlic and wine heavy in the air. I forced smiles, but every bite tasted like cardboard. Ethan's phone buzzed mid-dinner. He flipped it over, his face lighting up. "Sarah," he said, typing fast. "She's at the bar already. Wants to know where we are." My stomach twisted. "Does she know I'm coming?" He shook his head, casual. "Didn't mention it." My fork clattered against the plate. "Why not, Ethan? If she's your sister, why hide me?" He shrugged, clueless. Didn't think it mattered. I wanted to scream. Instead, I said, "Get the check. Let's go." The drive to the Capitol Hill bar felt endless. My palms sweated, my heart racing. What if she wasn't his sister? What if this was all a game? We parked, and Ethan led the way inside. The bar was dim, crowded, the same neon buzz from last night. There she was, Sarah, perched at the counter, chatting with the bartender. She wore a simple green dress, her brown hair catching the light. She looked up, saw Ethan, and waved. Then her eyes landed on me. Surprise flickered across her face, but she smiled, warm and disarming. Ethan hugged her, then turned. "Sarah, this is my wife, Emily." She extended a hand, her green eyes bright. "So nice to meet you, Emily." Her voice was soft, genuine. I shook her hand, searching for a lie in her face. Nothing. We sat, and Sarah ordered a round of shots. "To family," she toasted, clinking glasses. I sipped, my throat tight. She told me their story. Their mom, broke and desperate, sent Sarah to an aunt in Chicago when they were kids. They lost touch after the aunt died. Sarah tracked Ethan down through old family records and Facebook. "I couldn't believe I found him," she said, her smile soft. Ethan nodded, his hand on her shoulder. It sounded real, but I'd been burned before. I asked to see the messages again. Ethan handed over his phone. No fight. Sarah's texts were there, excited, planning their reunion. She even showed me her driver's license, same last name, Carter. It checked out. My shoulders eased, but not fully. Why had Ethan lied? Why the secrecy? Sarah mentioned moving to Seattle for a nursing job, to be near family. "Could I crash with you guys for a bit?" she asked, looking at me. Ethan grinned. "Of course." I hesitated, then nodded. Sure. I wanted to trust them. But as we left the bar, Sarah's smile lingered in my mind, and I wondered if I'd just invited trouble into our home. Sarah moved into our Seattle townhouse a week later. Her stuff arrived in boxes from Chicago, and Ethan helped her settle into the guest room. I watched them unpack, laughing over old family photos, and felt a pang of guilt for doubting him. Maybe I'd been too hard on Ethan. Maybe Sarah was just what we needed, a chance to rebuild trust. But something about her lingered in my mind. Her smile, her laugh. It wasn't suspicion anymore. It was something else. Sarah and I clicked fast. She was easy to talk to, her green eyes lighting up when we chatted over coffee. We started hanging out, just the two of us. We'd hit Pike Place Market, weaving through fish stalls, grabbing pastries from Le Panier. We tried new restaurants in Fremont, splitting plates of spicy noodles, laughing until our sides hurt. One day, we got our nails done at a salon in Belltown, her picking a bold red, me sticking with soft pink. "Live a little, Emily," she teased, nudging my shoulder. My heart skipped, and I brushed it off. She was Ethan's sister. I was married. This was normal, right? But it wasn't. The more time I spent with Sarah, the less I thought about Ethan. She made me feel alive, like I was waking up after years of sleepwalking. Her laugh was infectious, her touch accidental brushes when we passed dishes or shared a blanket electric. At night, lying next to Ethan, I'd stare at the ceiling, picturing Sarah's face. I imagined us driving up to the Cascades, hiking hand in hand, or curled up in a cozy cabin, just us. These weren't just daydreams, they were dangerous. Ethan noticed me pulling away. "You okay, babe?" he asked one evening, his brow furrowed. We were on the couch, some Netflix show droning in the background. I nodded, forcing a smile. "Just tired." He bought it, but I hated myself for lying. I hadn't told him I was bi, not in our 5 years together. It never seemed to matter until now. Sarah was unraveling me, and I didn't know how to stop it. One Saturday, Sarah and I went shopping at Westlake Center. We wandered through stores, trying on sunglasses, joking about our terrible fashion choices. Exhausted, we grabbed a table at a nearby bistro, the kind with tiny candles and overpriced wine. As we waited for our food, my heart hammered. I couldn't keep pretending. "Sarah," I said, my voice low. "Do you like me?" She laughed, her eyes crinkling. "Of course I like you, Em. You're my best friend." I swallowed, my mouth dry. "No, I mean, do you like me? More than a friend?" The air stilled. Her smile faded, but her eyes locked on mine, searching. Then, slowly, she reached across the table, her fingers lifting my chin. She leaned in and kissed me. Soft, warm, certain. My world tilted. She pulled back, her voice a whisper. "Does that answer your question?" I nodded, breathless, my mind a blur of her lips, her scent. The waiter arrived, oblivious, setting down our plates. We ate in silence, but her foot nudged mine under the table, a secret promise. We didn't talk about it, but everything changed. When Ethan left for work at his tech firm, Sarah and I stole moments. A kiss in the kitchen, her hands on my waist as I cooked. A stolen glance over coffee, her smile making my knees weak. We'd sneak sneak upstairs, giggling like teenagers, falling into each other's arms. It was reckless, intoxicating, but guilt gnawed at me. Ethan trusted us. He'd welcomed Sarah into our home, and here I was, betraying him with his own sister. One night, lying in bed, Ethan asleep beside me, I stared into the dark. Sarah's laugh echoed in my head, her touch a ghost on my skin. I loved her. I hadn't said it out loud, but it was true. I imagined telling Ethan, watching his face crumble. I imagined leaving, starting over with Sarah, free. But could I do that? Could I break his heart, our marriage, for this? I didn't know. All I knew was that Sarah was under my skin, and I couldn't let her go. Sarah and I fell deeper into our secret. Every stolen kiss, every whispered promise, pulled me further from Ethan. Our Seattle townhouse, once a haven, felt like a stage for a play I didn't want to perform. Ethan would leave for his tech job, and Sarah and I would collapse into each other, laughing, touching, alive. The kitchen counter, the upstairs hallway, even the attic, we claimed every corner. But the guilt was a shadow, always lurking. I was betraying my husband, and Sarah was betraying her brother. One rainy Tuesday, Ethan was supposed to be at a late meeting. Sarah and I were in the living room, the TV flickering, ignored. She pulled me close, her lips on mine, urgent, hungry. My hands tangled in her hair, her breath warm against my neck. We didn't hear the front door, not until it creaked open, and Ethan's keys hit the floor with a clatter. I froze, Sarah's arms still around me. Ethan stood in the doorway, his briefcase slipping from his hand, crashing to the hardwood. "What the hell is this?" His voice cracked, raw, like he'd been punched. His eyes darted from me to Sarah, wide with shock, then betrayal. I scrambled to my feet, my heart slamming against my ribs. Sarah clutched a throw blanket, her face pale. "Ethan, I started, but words failed me." He laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "My wife, my sister, in my own house." His voice rose, trembling. "How could you do this to me?" Sarah stepped forward, the blanket wrapped tight around her. "Ethan, please, let's talk." He held up a hand, his face twisting. "Don't, just don't." Tears glistened in his eyes and my chest ached. I'd never seen him cry, not in 5 years. I reached for him, desperate. "Ethan, I'm sorry." He jerked away, his voice a snarl. "Sorry? You're sorry?" He turned to Sarah, his jaw tight. "And you? I let you into my life, my home, and this is how you repay me?" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered. Ethan shook his head, backing toward the hall. "I had a crap day at work. I came home early to be with my wife, and I find this." His voice broke. He stormed to the guest room, Sarah following, her voice pleading. I stood there, rooted, as their shouts echoed through the house. "You betrayed me," Ethan yelled. "I wish you'd stayed gone, Sarah. You should have stayed in Chicago where you belonged." I couldn't take it. I marched to the guest room, my hands shaking. "Don't talk to her like that," I snapped. Ethan spun to me, his face red, eyes blazing. "You don't get to talk, Emily. You're my wife. My wife. And you're screwing my sister." His words hit like a slap. "You knew how much you both meant to me. You knew, and you threw it all away." He sank onto the bed, head in his hands, sobbing. Sarah reached for him, but he shoved her off. "Get out, both of you." I wanted to fix it, to take it all back, but I couldn't. I loved Sarah. That truth burned brighter than my guilt. The next morning, Ethan was gone. A note on the counter said he'd stay at a hotel. 2 days later, a courier delivered divorce papers. I showed them to Sarah, my hands trembling. She hugged me, her laugh soft, almost relieved. "We're free now," she said. I forced a smile, but my heart twisted. Free, but at what cost? The divorce hearing was brutal. Ethan stood across the courtroom, a shell of himself. His hair was greasy, uncombed, dark circles framing his eyes. The man who'd made me breakfast, who'd danced with me at our wedding, was gone. I signed the papers, my pen shaking, and walked away, Sarah's hand in mine. We moved into a small apartment in Fremont, her nursing job at a local hospital covering rent. Our days were filled with love, lazy mornings, shared coffees, her head on my shoulder as we watched the rain. But Ethan's face haunted me. I told Sarah I felt guilty. She kissed my forehead, her voice gentle. "We didn't choose this, Em. It just happened." But had it? I'd made choices every kiss, every lie. I'd broken Ethan, and for what? Love? Freedom? I posted about it online, asking if I was the asshole for choosing Sarah over my marriage. The comments tore me apart. Some called me selfish, a traitor. Others said love doesn't follow rules. I didn't know what to believe. Sarah and I are happy, or we try to be. But sometimes late at night, I wonder if I destroyed something good for something fleeting. Ethan's tears, his broken voice, they're etched in me. Was I wrong to follow my heart? Or was I just human, chasing what felt right? I don't know. All I know is I love Sarah and I can't go back.